If dudes come and you move it in a certain way, if you choose not to check in, you suffer the consequences. You figure like you got something that's bigger than what is there.
Yeah, because I mean, everybody be checking in. That's your favorite thing to do, check in with somebody that's gonna rob your stupid ass. Yo, you think that guy, the guy that you don't know in California got your back?
Yeah. When I go to Chicago, I respect Chicago wholeheartedly. I check in. When I go to Atlanta, I check in. When I go places, I check in. And I don't think nobody...
Man,
it looks like ScHoolboy Q just threw Big U straight under the bus. And not lightly either. What he's spilling, way crazier than those RICO charges he's facing. And if you thought court drama was the end of it, nah, this situation's got layers, and they're deep. Word on the street is Big U's about to go full lone wolf in his case. Yeah, he's planning to represent himself in court. Now, why would someone do that with 43 charges stacked against them? Turns out, Big U's not playing. He wants eyes on every single document, not just what a lawyer filters through. He's not trying to miss one word that might flip this whole case on its head. And yeah, folks are definitely talking. Representing yourself in a case this serious, that's bold, maybe even risky. But Big U's move seems calculated. He's trying to grab every scrap of paper, every bit of evidence, even the stuff that ain't directly about him. Why? 'Cause he doesn't trust anyone to show him the full picture. A lawyer might only hand over the basics, just enough to build a defense. But what if the real game-changing details are tucked away in the fine print? Something the prosecution thought wouldn't get noticed? Big U's not letting that slide. He wants to comb through every inch of it himself, line by line, searching for anything that could crack this wide open. This ain't just a court case for him, it's a mission. Man, ScHoolboy Q just aired Big U out and he didn't hold back one bit. The stuff he's revealing, it's way messier than those heavy RICO charges. And if you thought this was just some courtroom drama, think again. This whole thing's got layers on top of layers. Word is, Big U's about to ditch the lawyers and fight this case by himself. Yeah, he's really going solo in court. Now seriously? Who does that when they're staring down 43 charges? But Big U's got his reasons, and they ain't small. He wants to get his hands on every single piece of paperwork, not just what a lawyer decides is relevant. He's not about to let something important slip past him. And trust, people are buzzing about this move. Representing yourself in a high-stakes RICO case? That's wild. But Big U's playing chess, not checkers. He wants access to everything, even files that don't directly name him. He's convinced there's more buried in that stack of legal documents than what meets the eye. Why is he doing this? Straight up, he doesn't trust the system to give him the full story. A defense lawyer might only show him the minimum, just enough to piece together a strategy. But what if the real gems, the stuff that could blow holes in the case, are tucked deep in the background files? Big U ain't risking it. He's going line for line, page for page, ready to dig out anything that could shift the whole case. This ain't just legal survival, it's personal now. The way this is unfolding, it's clear Big U's decision to represent himself ain't just some last-minute stunt. It looks like part of a bigger, more calculated play. He might be thinking long game, like once he digs through all the files, breaks down every page of evidence, then he might bring a lawyer back in, but only when he's in full control of the narrative. He's not trying to walk into court blind. He wants every angle covered before making his next move. This ain't checkers. Big U's definitely playing chess. And if he stumbles on proof that someone from his inner circle's been running to the feds, that could flip everything. We're talking betrayal at the highest level. And knowing Big U, if there's dirt hiding in those files, he's gonna find it. He's not new to this. He's smart, calculated, and always watching. If the paperwork shows he's been crossed by his own people, that could push him to switch gears completely. Don't be shocked if he ends up striking a deal just to cut his losses and walk away with less time. This game's cold, and even Whack 100's been out here talking loud, saying the streets ain't what they used to be. The rules are changing fast. And now? Big U's whole empire, the grip he had on LA like it was his turf, it's starting to shake. The kingdom he built brick by brick? It's looking like it's falling apart right in front of us. They might act like they're helping, but let's be real. They're working for him. Not too long ago, Big U was the top dog in LA, the one everybody had to check in with before stepping foot in the city's hoods. He ran LA like it was his personal kingdom. For years, no questions asked, rappers, crews, whoever, they all checked in with Big U before touching down. And he enforced that rule with an iron grip. But now, with all this mess unraveling, folks are starting to see that whole check-in culture a lot differently. What once looked like street safety is now getting called out as a straight-up hustle. People are beginning to wonder, was Big U really just protecting the city? Or was he using fear and chaos to tax artists just trying to move through LA without getting caught in the madness? And remember when he came at Quando Rondo for not checking in? Big U made it sound like Rondo played himself big time by skipping that call. But that wasn't even the wildest part. He even claimed that PNB Rock got hit because he didn't check in. At first, that sounded crazy. But then PNB Rock's death rocked the streets and the whispers started to grow louder. Fans were stunned. But behind closed doors, people started connecting dots, saying his murder didn't feel random at all. Now there's real talk going around that it wasn't just a robbery. It looked more like a message. Something way deeper, something organized. And folks are watching this all unfold with wide eyes. A warning for not checking in with Big U? That's what people are starting to believe. And honestly, calling it suspicious doesn't even scratch the surface. PNB Rock got taken out in broad daylight, and as soon as it happened, folks started putting two and two together. Was it really just a robbery? Or was it a message being sent? Then the streets started buzzing with rumors that Big U might have known way more than he was letting on. One user even posted, "Check in. Let me know you're here so I can set you up to get robbed." And another didn't hold back at all, straight up saying, "Look at him, making it mandatory to check in. He's probably behind every robbery in LA." That's some heavy stuff to put on someone's name. But things only got shakier after people peeped Big U's reaction to the tragedy. He did interviews, sure, but his vibe? Ice cold. No real sadness, no shock, no emotion at all. For someone who always claimed to be a protector of the culture, his response didn't sit right. It wasn't just silence. It was that calculated, calm tone like nothing major had happened. People were left wondering, was he really heartless? Or was he trying to stay cool because he knew way more than he was saying? That lack of real sympathy had folks raising eyebrows everywhere. Now the question is loud and clear. Was Big U just a distant bystander, or is he sitting on secrets way deeper than anyone imagined? Then boom, it all started crashing down. The arrest, the indictment, RICO charges hit like a wrecking ball, and Big U's whole world started spiraling out of control, fast, and right in the middle of that chaos, ScHoolboy Q stepped in with no hesitation. He took direct shots straight at the so-called check-in culture Big U helped create. Q wasn't sugarcoating a thing. He exposed the whole game, calling it out for what it really was, exploitation. And the timing couldn't have been more brutal for Big U. Q pulled the curtain back right when Big U was knee-deep in his own legal nightmare. Q said loud and clear, this check-in stuff was never about safety. It was about power, money, and control. It was about taxing people who just wanted to move through LA without drama. And guess what? He wasn't alone in thinking that. As Big U's charges started getting blasted all over the internet, more and more folks began siding with Q. The whole check-in system started looking less like protection and more like a straight-up street scam, a hustle dressed in the clothes of community. Q's words made people pause and start reevaluating everything they thought they knew about this so-called safety net. Was it really about keeping peace, or just making bank off fear? With Q speaking up right as Big U was being dragged through the courts, it felt like the whole system was finally being exposed. Intimidation, manipulation, control, it was all getting spotlighted. And now, Big U's juggling legal heat, accusations of manipulating the streets, and the storm of online voices calling him out. If Q could see through the whole setup, who else is waking up now? But ScHoolboy Q's words, they hit hard. He didn't just call out Big U, he put the whole culture under a spotlight. Now people are looking at everything Big U built and wondering if it was ever really about protection, or just a clever way for him to stay in control, even if it meant pulling some slick moves behind the scenes. That so-called check-in culture? It used to feel like a street safety net. But now, folks are waking up and realizing it might have just been a hustle in disguise, a money move dressed up as a community rule. And with Big U scrambling to figure out his next steps, all eyes are on him, but not just him. They're watching the entire system he created. The same streets he once ruled with check-ins and quiet control are now watching his every move like never before. With his trial heating up, Big U's making bold moves. He's tossed the lawyers to the side and decided to represent himself. That's not just pride, that's strategy. He wants full access, full control. Every document, every report, he's reading through it all himself, looking for that one detail that could flip everything. Why? Because if he can find the right piece of info, something hidden, something overlooked, he might be able to strike a deal. Maybe even talk his way into a lighter sentence or plea deal. Big U ain't just fighting charges, he's fighting to rewrite how this whole story ends. It's all about control now. Big U wants that power in his hands, making sure nothing gets past him. No lawyers filtering info, no overlooked details. But out here, the streets are buzzing heavy about him going solo in court. And online, it's blowing up. One user even said, Big U's about to tell on everybody. And others are matching that same energy. Yeah, it's looking real shaky for Big U, but he's still standing tall for now. Every step he takes is under a microscope, and if you think you already know how this is gonna end, you might want to think again. Is Big U playing the smartest hand of his life? Or is he digging himself into something even deeper? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk about it. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring that bell so you don't miss the next jaw-dropping twist in this crazy saga. You already know it's about to get wilder, right? So don't miss a thing. Bye for now.